Hi, we are team number 4, and our venture is Wine with Jules. On the first day of Project 3, we had already formed our group based on our variety of perspectives and personalities. We began to bounce ideas off of one another until Julia explained her wine club, Wine with Jules. She told us about how she has been hosting weekly wine tastings for her friends, and that she was curious as to whether she could turn this into a business. She explained that she wanted to expand her customer base, host wine tastings more frequently, and begin hosting in-house wine tastings, where she would serve as a wine education consultant to people who request her service in their own homes. Julia's ability to tell her story and incorporate her excitement for her venture rubbed off on the entire group. This was a crucial point as it created a strong foundation for commitment and enthusiasm. With that commitment in mind, we took the next steps to create a plan of action to innovate and iterate certain aspects of our business model. As a starting point, we decided to divide the work into 3 categories. Julia would continue to fill up her wine tastings and speak to current customers in order to better understand them. In addition, she would look to expand the in-house wine tasting aspect of our business. Jane would focus on our design and social media presence, which we will get into later. Finally, Julian and I would tackle further customer discovery and broadening our segmentation tactics.
Later, in order to increase our customer base, Matt and I looked into different areas within our customer segment in which we could expand our business. Since Matt is on the swim team, we first looked into acquiring male and female student-athlete customers. Matt developed empathy maps for potential customers, and from there we were able to interest them in our service. We were able to hold a wine tasting for some athletes, however, none of them males. At the same time, I looked into fraternity and sorority section of our customer segment. Like Matt, I developed empathy maps for the people I interviewed. Overall, I got a positive response from many who were interested in our business. However, we were never able to coordinate a date to hold a wine tasting. We realized that although athletes and Greek life members were interested in learning more about wine, their social calendars were too full to actually ever attend a wine tasting or host one. That being said, we focused our customer segment on beginning wine drinkers who want to learn more about wine and see Wine with Jules as a social experience. In total, we had 43 customers. 20 of these customers attended more than one tasting.
After Ron mentioned in class that we should have customers sign a waiver that they are 21 and that we won't be responsible if anything happens to them, it occurred to us that we should research the other legalities of wine tasting. Julia called the liquor control to confirm that what we are doing is legal, and they said sure, so long as it's for friends and no profit is being made. So we continued to host wine tastings with these regulations in mind. We researched other companies similar to ours, such as Wines for Humanity, a non-profit in-house wine tasting service, and Wine Shop at Home, a for-profit in-house wine tasting service, to find out how they operate. Turns out they have customers purchase the wines from their website, which means they don't need a liquor license since they aren't providing wine to the public. Unfortunately, we weren't able to offer this service because we weren't partnered with any distributor, and we found that our customer segment, beginning wine drinkers who want to learn more about wine, were not willing to purchase the wines for themselves. Therefore, we continued to operate as a private wine club where friends and friends of friends would reimburse us for the wine and cheese we provided.
My goal in this venture was to improve the visual identity of Wine with Jules. Since I had previously worked with Julia to design the logo, it was a natural transition to grow the branding from a small scale into every other aspect of the label. During the first week, we set our target points. I was to redesign and improve the website under a domain name and not a Wix site, photograph a handful of wine tastings to improve social media presence, photograph the wine bottles tasted and add them to an online wine gallery, create a template of weekly invitations for Wine with Jules, and adjust it according to the theme of each week, and create business cards. All of these goals were met to varying degrees. I made it to 3 of the wine tastings to photograph and posted a number of the photos on Instagram and Facebook. The website was slower coming. It still needs more information input and to shore up design bugs. I think, like any website, it would benefit from consistent logging. The fact that there is a wine gallery page started is its greatest asset. It will allow Julia to log the wines she's offered, giving past customers a reference back to go look over. It will also allow future customers to get an idea of what to expect and ask for.
We learned a ton of lessons by hosting weekly wine tastings and in-house wine tasting services. The biggest lesson we learned is that if we were to make this a public and for-profit company, then I would need to apply for a salesperson license, which would allow me to provide in-house wine tasting services to the public and for-profit, as long as I was representing a vendor or company. We also learned 3 lessons about the value proposition through customer discovery. These were that 1 of the greatest value propositions of Wine with Jules is that members learn about wine in a non-intimidating environment. This non-intimidating environment is what differentiates Wine with Jules from other wine tastings. 2. Customers perceive and enjoy that Wine with Jules is a social experience. Many people commented that it's a great way to meet new people. 3. The flip side of that, however, is that some people are uncomfortable in new social experiences, and customer discovery revealed that members felt more comfortable when they were able to and encouraged to bring a friend to Wine with Jules. This was great for us because it boosted numbers and allowed us to purchase higher quality wines and cheeses. 4. We also learned that college kids are flaky and need to pay for the wine tastings in advance. There were too many times we had to track down people who forgot to pay. Taking all these lessons into account, moving forward, we will market Wine with Jules with a special emphasis on learning about wine in a non-intimidating and social environment. Furthermore, we will continue to encourage customers to bring a friend. We will also require customers to pay in advance. As for in-house wine tasting, the biggest lessons we learned is that in-house wine tasting customers should select the wine or region they would like to explore. Furthermore, we should communicate with the host about each person's general level of wine knowledge. This will help the in-house wine tasters to feel more invested in the wine that they are tasting, so hopefully everyone who RSVPs will come and the tasting will fit their needs. Wine with Jules could be a viable business model if I were to partner with vendors and obtain a salesperson's license. But for the purpose of this project, we made $430 in total, all of which we spent on the wine and cheeses.